If you were wondering where the Tomb Raider franchise was headed with our artifact hoarding heroine, then I hope you caught the Tomb Raider Catalyst teaser trailer. And if you haven't, then you're in the right place because I'm about to break it down for you. Crystal Dynamics has had an ear open towards the fans it seems with the two trailers released recently, with one of them being Catalyst. Fans have wanted more Tomb Raider, but they wanted lore to look right and the games to feel right. With the Survivor Trilogy being a starter game for a lot of fans and had been received fairly well despite what you might hear, as a reboot of Tomb Raider, it didn't capture the fully fledged adventurer in the same way that the classic entries did. So let me tell you why the Catalyst trailer says a lot. Alright, so taking a look at the trailer, from the beginning the trailer is a bit loaded with timeline referring to Laura's past adventures, stating that she survived the Dragon's Triangle, referencing the island of Yamatai from the 2013 reboot. The narrator claims the entire world knows of her legend, even acknowledging her traversal through the Mediterranean, meaning that we know this game takes place after the recently revealed Legacy of Atlantis trailer, obviously. The antagonist also mentions that they've heard dozens of untold tales of Laura being unstoppable, leading them to commenting that all legends must come to an end. So what can we take from this? Clearly, it's no secret that in this universe, Laura's path is well known, and her enemies are probably either hesitant or more eager to cross it. We know that this Laura is survival traumatized, well-traveled, matured, and combat ready, and I'm ready to get to that in just a second. We also know that this Laura is from the same universe as the Survivor Trilogy origin and the Underworld timeline in one. So we can assume that this is, if not taking place in the present, then it's a catch-up to where our Tomb Raider has been. As the franchise has rebooted time and again, we're now getting a continuation compiling the universes in what the franchise could be considering, or as Laura states, just getting started. Now, if we take a look at the glimpse of characters that we got in this trailer, let's talk about the antagonist off rip. Judging off of the antagonist we see in the trailer, I'm assuming she's only one threat of many rather than some main face we should look out for. Aside from how quickly Laura clears the room and takes her down, the way she speaks of Laura's legend and of herself as if she's going to shut everything down before getting folded like wet tissue paper, this provoked me to think that there's likely someone over her pay grade or even potentially multiple Tomb Raiders trying to beat Laura to the secrets that are causing the cataclysmic events. Which would make perfect sense since Laura has been built off of these exact scenarios. But what this game will offer is respect on Laura's name, as we get to experience her taking down multiple rivals at a pace where it'll likely get more personal with each antagonist in the way that they'll have more weight to their encounters rather than feeling like we're running down goons. Exciting part about this is that we'll get to feel our season Laura's improved combat using various gadgets from her past adventures and even potentially new ones, with threats being aware of her perseverance and inability to stay down, and Laura moving as if she's a force of nature having dealt with her moral dilemmas and daddy issues. Meaning we may get the Laura that people accepted from the Survivor Trilogy while cutting the slow development and getting straight to the refined combat, allowing for optimal aggression and an aim Laura out of the gate rather than towards the final chapters of the game. Now obviously a character is hollow without an arc, but what I'm saying is this arc will be strictly focused on our plot's present issue and maybe the franchise's future, with of course some background lore to catch us up, as well as enough there for fans less familiar with some games prior to Catalyst to be able to understand what's happening. Say man, I was a little late to get to recording this, so you gotta deal with the yellow light, bear with me. It's yellow. I don't like it either. So now let's get to talking combat and our gear, of course. So if we look at our inventory within the first few moments of the trailer, we see that Laura has some sort of tarp or blueprint laid out with her gear scattered over it. The scene is quick and the gear isn't entirely in focus, but from what we can see, Laura will be equipped with a survival pack, 2 pistols, a device that looks like a glow stick, and some arrows as well as a bow. Then shortly after they feature the compact wrist grappling tool that I touched on a bit in the Legacy of Atlantis trailer review, which if you haven't seen yet, I recommend you go do after this video. Link will be down in the description. Now as for that grappling tool, I'm imagining it's a more advanced version than what we've previously seen in Tomb Raider Legend, given that time has passed since the entry, though it's not yet clear exactly how much time that may be. Judging by the way they feature it above other items we see in her inventory, this may be a primary gadget that will be upgrading for new features as the game progresses. A few moments after that, we get a scene where Laura is using the gadget to slowly descend into a tomb, where she encounters the antagonist you see in the trailer. She then uses the gadget to quickly disarm, grapple, take down her foes, and even maneuver around the room at a decent speed. On some real Rico Rodriguez business, if you know you know. So again, you can imagine that a lot of gameplay will be focused on this gadget alone as far as mobility and combat. Seeing Laura jump kicking and disarming foes is something that piqued my attention because though we've seen it in Tomb Raider games before, with the direction they're taking it now, maybe we'll get to see some interesting combat heavy gameplay as the Survivor Trilogy's action adventure style meant to focus on. But while spinning off of the formula from the Legend Trilogy and being able to consolidate that with the franchise's experiences and resources. With that being said, this trailer seemed to put a lot more attention on Laura's combat than the other did, which also makes sense saying this is a combat hardened Laura. So I get the feeling they really want to experiment with some combat mechanics for this installment, We'll just have to wait and see. Now let's talk about the mobility. We all know we'll be dealing with cataclysmic events in this game, so we can imagine again this grappling device is probably going to be our best friend throughout the game, with it not only being a tool in combat, but of course it needs to descend into chasms, climb ruins, or cross other types of terrain. Maybe even a small speed boost for casual traversal. They also show a bit of lower platforming in the trailer, and again, this could be an indicator of how they plan to show off mobility, and then of course the grapple device will only emphasize that. I did want to touch up right quick on the voice acting as well though. I don't know why, but to my surprise, Lara Croft in both Legacy of Atlantis and Catalyst is voiced by Alex Wilson Reagan for the Unified Timeline. And I think she's great, but it caught me off guard because at a glance she sounded like a different voice actor entirely, and I still thought she sounded like a different person until hearing it back to back. That's the goal they're trying to hit, having Alex give that impression of the 96 Lara Croft, as well as being able to mold that into the veteran Lara that we'll be getting in Catalyst. You know, those are just some of the first few things I noticed peeping this Catalyst trailer. I wasn't looking at it too closely at first, but you know, this trailer doesn't show too much, but it says a lot at the same time. There's a lot more that I would like to get into about this trailer, but that's gonna have to be for another video before I start merging this into something else. If you would like to see me touch more on the recently revealed Tomb Raider games, why we're getting two, and where the franchise is likely going, then make sure to hit that like button and support the nation. That way we can spread gaming news to more gamers out there. If you know anyone interested in content like this, be sure to share it with them as well. And of course, I'd love to have you here again, so don't forget to subscribe on your way out and ensure that you don't miss any updates and become a part of the nation today. I'll be seeing you assassins soon, and as always, stay blessed. I'm out.